Hey there. Have you ever stopped to think about what money really is? I mean, this little piece of paper in my hand, it's just paper, right? But somehow, when it has 100 printed on it, it's worth $100. How does that even work? Well, this isn't just any paper. It's fiat money. And no, we're not talking about the Italian Fiat car. So what exactly is fiat money? Why does it hold value? And why don't we just use something more valuable like gold instead? In today's video, we're diving deep into the history, mechanics, pros, cons, and future of fiat money. Let's get started. Everyone wants money, but have you ever wondered where it actually comes from? Long before paper bills and digital banking, money didn't even exist. People used the barter system, trading goods and services directly. If Bob had bread but needed milk, and Tom had milk but wanted bread, they could simply swap. Sounds simple, right? But what if Bob wanted milk, but nobody needed his bread? That's where the barter system failed. It lacked a universal measure of value, making trade inefficient. To solve this, people started using commodity money, items that held inherent value like salt, shells, or even cattle. In ancient China, India, and Africa, cowrie shells were widely used as currency. Believe it or not, European traders even used them to buy slaves from Africa. Commodity money worked for a while, but there was another problem: inflation. In coastal regions where cowrie shells were abundant, their value dropped. Inflation isn't just a modern issue. It's been around for thousands of years. Then, around 600 BC, the Kingdom of Lydia, modern-day Turkey, introduced metal coins made from gold and silver. These metals were durable, rare, and universally accepted. Plus, they were easier to carry than thousands of shells. That's why pirate movies always show treasure chests full of gold coins. By the time of the Roman Empire, coins were the norm. But even metal money had its drawbacks. Gold and silver were heavy. Carrying large sums was impractical. So, to make things easier, people started using paper money. The first true paper currency appeared in China during the Song dynasty. Initially, it wasn't money itself but a receipt, a way to represent gold and silver stored in a bank. If you deposited 10 gold coins, you got a piece of paper that said, "This is worth 10 gold coins." You could then trade this paper instead of carrying heavy metal. This system evolved into the gold standard, where each paper note was backed by real gold. If a country had 1,000 ounces of gold, it could print $1,000, meaning each dollar was worth 1 ounce of gold. For centuries, countries like the US, UK, and France operated under the gold standard. But during World War I and II, governments printed more money than they had gold to fund war efforts. This led to inflation, making the gold standard difficult to maintain. By 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement tied global currencies to the US dollar, which was backed by America's gold reserves. At the time, the US controlled 70% of the world's gold, making the dollar the global standard. However, history repeated itself. Demand for US dollars skyrocketed, but there wasn't enough gold to back them. The US also needed more money to fund wars, including the Vietnam War. So, in 1971, President Richard Nixon abandoned the gold standard, an event known as the Nixon shock. From that point on, the US dollar and most other currencies became fiat money. So, what does fiat actually mean? The word comes from Latin and means, "let it be done." In the past, kings would issue decrees and seal them with a royal fiat, essentially saying, "This is law because I said so." Fiat money works the same way. Since it's not backed by gold or silver, it only has value because the government says so, and more importantly, because people trust that government. For example, the US dollar is widely accepted because people trust the US government and economy. But in countries like Zimbabwe and Venezuela, where governments mismanaged their economies, trust collapsed. As a result, their currencies lost almost all value due to hyperinflation. This is why fiat money depends entirely on trust. A strong government and stable economy maintain its value, but if people lose confidence, fiat money can quickly become worthless. So, is fiat money good or bad? Well, let's look at both sides. Advantages. Cost-effective and flexible. Unlike gold-backed money, central banks can print as much fiat money as needed to manage the economy. This allows them to lower interest rates, provide loans, and boost growth. Easier transactions. Imagine carrying gold bars to buy groceries. Fiat money is lightweight, convenient, and now digital, making trade seamless. Disadvantages. Inflation risk. Since fiat money isn't backed by anything tangible, governments can print too much, leading to hyperinflation, like in Zimbabwe and Venezuela. Depends on government stability. If a government collapses or mismanages the economy, its currency can become worthless overnight. Fiat money gives central banks powerful tools, but it requires careful management. If mishandled, it can lead to economic disasters. Throughout history, money has evolved from barter to metal coins, then to paper, and finally to fiat. But will fiat money last forever? Many believe cryptocurrency could be the next evolution of money. Unlike fiat money, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are decentralized, meaning they're not controlled by any government. Plus, some cryptos like Bitcoin have a limited supply, making them resistant to inflation. Some countries, like El Salvador, have already adopted Bitcoin as legal currency. However, cryptos are still highly volatile. Imagine buying a coffee today for 0.001 Bitcoin, but tomorrow that same coffee costs 0.002 Bitcoin because the price changed overnight. That's why most people treat crypto as an investment, not everyday money, at least for now. As long as people trust their governments, fiat money will remain dominant. But if more people lose confidence and shift toward alternatives like cryptocurrency, we could witness another major shift in how money works. What do you think? Will fiat money survive, or are we heading toward a new financial system? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into money and finance. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.